Thank you for listening and watching today's show. We aren't here to tell you what to think, but to inspire and empower you to do your own thinking for better life results. We are being shadow banned, censored, canceled, and deleted simply for sharing our message. Go to contacttammy.com and always stay connected with us. At contacttammy.com, sign up for our latest report on health, freedom, and organic lifestyle. Text the word health to 833-838-1020 and get free access to our community and a chance to win free merchandise and products. Send me a quick message and become a supporter. There are many options available, and you will have a direct impact on keeping independent media healthy and growing. Go to contacttammy.com and let's stay connected. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on the Naturally Inspired Daily. If you have not yet become a subscriber over on livenaturallyinspired.com, we'd love it if you join us there for just $5 a month. And right now, if you enter promo code Tammy, that's TAMMY, you can get your first month for free. We are here to help people feel good so they can do what they love for longer. So let's get started with today's Health Watch tip. I have been reading a ton of books lately. I don't remember having been through so many books in such a short time period lately. One of the books that I've read is called The Whole Foods Diet. And, I don't subscribe to everything this book talks about, but there were certainly some really great takeaways. It's very heavy on the vegetarian diet and vegan lifestyle type of protocol. And as you know about me, I don't really believe in fully eliminating food groups. I think it's wonderful that people do that for ethical reasons. And I applaud you, and I hope you feel great doing that. I have no problem with it. It's just that for myself, I think a better approach is just to integrate a lifestyle rather than eliminate and, be restrictive with specific food groups other than like processed food. I actually think it's pretty good to just eliminate processed food all entirely. But anyways, I want to talk today about lifestyle. And this is so important to understand this concept when it comes to eating and nutrition. It is not a diet, okay? If you're looking for short-term results, then I would suggest, a diet could produce those short-term results for you. But if you're looking for long-term sustainability in nutrition, and in your health, you are going to need to make changes in your life and create a lifestyle that you can live with. And not just live with, enjoy and thrive. So you're going to need to become someone who plans to go places to get ingredients rather than someone who sees the golden arches and decides to stop off there and get a meal. That's part of creating a lifestyle. And as you create a lifestyle, you're going to become this different, person that makes choices like that. So instead of on a Saturday, driving around shopping and thinking, oh, I need to eat, and just pulling into a drive-through and getting fast food, you become someone who plans their Saturday purposefully to attend local markets or to pick up fresh ingredients from fresh providers. And that is who you become, instead of the person that hustles and bustles around and just, eating is is an afterthought and not a priority, which it should be a priority because eating directly impacts your health. So here are a few tips, 6 tips that you can take away for building a healthier lifestyle and creating a synergy within how you live that supports your health. One is see past fad diets, right? See past the ketos and the paleos and the cleanses and the gluten-free. Again, I'm not saying there aren't places and times to use those things, but overall for sustainability, we want to be including all of the food groups in a diverse way for being able to, sustain that. When we eliminate things, we box ourselves in and it becomes a deprivation factor. So look past the fad diets. Those are mostly created by media. There's always kind of a motive when you see an emerging diet. There could be a new book, there could be a new product, there could be something that is emerging that is causing this spotlight to be put on these fad diets in the media. So be aware of that and look past it. Second thing is being mindful with your choices. Do not eat without thought. This is how people continue this this habit of like unmindfulness eating, which is like you can devour an entire bag of potato chips because you're watching TV while you're doing it, or you're thinking about a stressful situation and you're just eating to eat. Stop that. When you find that going on, stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, am I making a mindful decision with what I'm eating here, or am I eating to change my state of how I'm feeling right now? Because that's often why we will fall into unmindful eating practices, as we're just trying to feel something different. So we'll take in foods that we can eat in mass quantities, and use that activity to take us out of our state of how we're feeling. So don't, be mindful of your choices. Start and be mindful of what you're eating. Third is think volume with your food. So make choices, again, that are going to bring you the best results. So when you're looking at the food, think about, I always use this analogy of raisins because it's it's such a visual analogy, and it works so well. You can eat, a handful of raisins, which are all dried up, very sweet, full of sugar, and you can eat those and feel, like you've had something. Or you can eat an entire bowl of grapes, which is full of fiber and water and, has lots of volume. So when you're deciding and picking your food choices, that should be something that you should factor in. How much volume am I getting out of this choice that I'm making here? How long will this sustain me? Is this really worth it? Right? A few raisins, well, what's that going to do for me, rather than an entire bowl of grapes? So think volume when you're making your choices with your food. Plate crowding is one of my favorites. So build your plate up, right? From crowding it out with lots of sprouts, greens, vegetables, cucumbers, tomatoes, lots and lots of vegetables. Put that on your plate first, and then add on your more caloric, dense foods like proteins or beans or whatever, even some good fats like walnuts sprinkled through if you're doing, some kind of blend of fats, protein, and then of course, tons of vegetables or fruits. So crowd your plate out with the good stuff, and then top it off with the stuff that's more calorie rich. And it just makes a better composition of your plate. The fifth thing is about combination. So be mindful about the combinations that you're eating. So are you getting a little bit of carbohydrates? Are you getting a little bit of protein? Or what kind of nutrients are you putting into this plate that you're about to eat? Are there any fats in it? What colors are there? Start thinking about what your plate looks like and how diverse it is in terms of what kind of food category it falls into. So eating an entire bag of potato chips, there's not a lot of diversity there, right? It's fat and it's empty carbohydrates, very little nutrition. So that compared to an entire plate filled with fruit, maybe, some walnuts thrown on there. You can have some protein like with cheese or what have you. That's a more diverse plate. So we need to be thinking about that in when we're constructing these plates of food that we're eating. Also, one rule I like to promote all the time, because I really want to help people get back to eating naturally. And what's naturally? Well, to me, naturally is as closest to the earth as you can possibly get, right? If I'm growing lettuce in my garden here at 1890 Homestead, I can literally go out with my shears, clip my lettuce out of my garden, bring it back, wash it, put it on my plate and eat it. It doesn't get much closer than that because I planted that seed myself and grew it myself. So I always try to stay as close as I can to the planet when I'm making food choices. So I can pick a whole, sweet potato that came out of the ground somewhere. Someone threw it in a bag and it ended up on a grocery store. It may have been washed. If it's organic, it's got no additives to it. And then I'm eating it. That's pretty close too, right? But when we get into these packaged foods, we're talking about multiple ingredients that have been processed, meaning that they've probably had most of their fiber pulled out of them. They've been enhanced with sugars or salts to make them taste better, added with other ingredients that have gone through the same process. And then, it is packaged up in plastic, put inside a box, put on a truck, maybe been sitting for months before it actually gets to me. So that's a ton of steps from the earth to my stomach. And that's how I always try to make my decisions when I'm picking foods. How far away from the earth is this? Because the closer to the earth, I feel like the healthier the product is. So those are just a few tips for creating a lifestyle for better health outcomes. Unfortunately, some platforms censor the information in this show. Watch the rest of this episode by going to naturallyinspireddaily.com. Find amazing interviews with people like David Icke, Max Egan, frontline doctors, and more at naturallyinspiredpodcast.com. Connect with me directly at tammycuthbertgarcia.com. Support our amazing team. Help us defeat censorship and become a subscriber for only $5 a month at livenaturallyinspired.com. Find me on all social media platforms at connectwithtammy.com.